So talking about this special category of human being, the B'nai Aliyah, the Tzaddik Gamar, they're not just looking to quench their own spiritual thirst. They're doing something far more transcendent than that. They are trying to not just connect with their own bliss of connecting to the source and having a spiritual high. What are they trying to do? They're not just focused on self-indulgent pleasures. Rather, they're focused on God's pleasure. Meaning there's a switch that happens from I'm just focusing on my own self-indulgent pleasure to I want to have godly pleasure, right? I want to have pleasure in mitzvahs and saying a bracha. But then there's even a higher level, which is I'm focusing on God's pleasure. Meaning I'm saying the blessing and I'm blissing out on Hashem's awesomeness. What about focusing on the pleasure that I'm giving God through saying this blessing on a potato chip? Right? It's taking to a whole other level. It's in a relationship. I could focus on how much I enjoy the other person's love, or I could focus on wanting to let the other person feel the joy of love. It's just where's my focus in the relationship? The B'nai Aliyah are at such an exalted level where all their evil is transformed to good to the point that they're really just focused on God's pleasure. So self-actualization and happiness, they are not actually goals. If I'm going to try to be happy, probably the harder it's actually going to be happy. Happiness and self-actualization are byproducts of living a meaningful life. Meaning, is the B'nai Aliyah experiencing incredible pleasure? 100%. But not because they're focused on their own physical pleasure, not because they're focused on their own spiritual pleasure, because they're focused on God's pleasure and giving God pleasure through doing the mitzvahs. Therefore, they're going to have the most pleasureful lives in the most physical sense, but it's a byproduct of this higher service. Who is a pious one, a chassid? Person who acts kindly with his creator. A quote from the Tikkunei Zohar. So this is our B'nai Aliyah. They are acting kindly with their source, with their creator. The ultimate kindness is to unite God with his nest. To unite the Shekhinah down in this world with the Blessed Holy One. Hashem wants to be united with his Shekhinah, but Hashem put the key in our hands. It's only through doing mitzvahs that we can actually reunite, so to speak, the masculine and feminine aspects of divinity. So, meaning, did Hashem need to put himself in that situation? No, but Hashem wanted to give us the ability to cause the ultimate yichud, the ultimate marriage between Kitcher Brichu and Shchinte, between God as he is transcendent and God as he fills the world. And that's what we're doing with a mitzvah, right? I'm taking this as God as he fills the world, something physical, and I'm uniting it with God's will, which transcends the world, so with the commandment. And therefore fusing Kitcher Brichu, God as he's beyond the world, with Shchinte, God as he's within the world. We actually see this in our prayer service. There's a line that says to unite Yud-K and Vav-K, Kitcher Brichu and Shchinte. They were actively praying right now in order to cause this supernal marriage of heavens and earth to merge. So the idea here of the B'nai Aliyah is like a son who exerts himself for his father and mother, who he loves more than himself, more than his own nefesh, ruach, and neshama. And he's prepared to die for them, or to redeem them to redeem them from captivity. So the only example I can think of is Yosef HaTzadik. In the Torah, you see when Yaakov is going to go face his brother Esav, all the mothers stand in front of their children. But not with Yosef. Little Yosef, just a kid at the time, stands in front of his mother, because his love for his mother is greater than his own love for his own very life. So, Super Jew to the rescue. Ready to rescue the Shekhinah 24/7 with 613 superpowers. Right? Super soul powers. That is who the B'nai Aliyah are. They are ready. They are on the mitzvah. They are on the mission, ready to unite Hashem with his Shekhinah, Hashem with his people through the mitzvahs 24/7. We have two interpretations of the idea of the B'nai Aliyah, right? These exalted people. So one is they convert evil to good. That's what we learned about them. The other idea is that they draw God's presence into the world and thereby unite God with his Shekhinah, with his people, with the transcendent aspect of godliness, with the immanent, indwelling aspect of godliness. But really, they're two sides of the one coin. They're really the same idea. So how does it work? Is that conversion of evil to good equals feminine waters. The feminine waters is the idea of an arousal from below. It's the actions that I take as a human being. But then, what happens is this elicits a spiritual reaction. These feminine waters cause masculine waters to descend, which is God descending below to unite with his Shekhinah, his nest. So when we do mitzvahs, we're literally causing godliness to flow into this world because we do our act from below and Hashem meets us, right? Hashem wants the relationship to come from us. Hashem wants us to be active in this relationship, in this partnership. So first we do the mitzvahs, and that causes, so to speak, God to then elicit blessings and light into this world. The 248 mitzvahs are the vessels for the feminine waters. Okay, so the masculine waters are the energy, the 240 mitzvahs, they are the vessels, right? They are the vessels, they are the feminine waters, right? That is the arousal and below. That is me being active in my relationship with Hashem. The masculine waters are the energy of kindness that flow into these vessels. So you always think of it as like light and vessels, right? So there's the mitzvah I'm doing, and we want Hashem to fill that mitzvah with his light. It's through mitzvahs that God's holiness can be drawn down and clothed within the lowest realms. So the Bnei Aliyah is really focused on Mashiach. They're focusing on allowing Hashem to dwell in this world. The idea of Mashiach is that Hashem can feel at home in his world, that Hashem's desire of building a home in this world with us can come into fruition. How? Through mitzvahs, we are building this home with us and Hashem. So Bnei Aliyah, they're focused on Hashem's mission statement, point of creation. God's deepest desire, as Kabbalah tells us, is to have a home in this world with us. So Bnei Aliyah, they're not just focusing on, I want to have great spiritual heights and great spiritual highs. So like, no, Hashem doesn't want a high. He wants a descent, right? Hashem wants to get lower. He wants to come into this physical world. In order to make that happen, I have to do these mitzvahs. And so the Bnei Aliyah are completely focused on God's pleasure, and that's why they're these exalted human beings. Thank you for taking the time to learn today's Tanya with me.